for this task, we are going to be putting up a shelf. So this is going to be a shelf that's going to be on top of a dinette, and we just want it to be, keeping books within easy reach. So it's going to be roughly about a foot above where the dinette's going to be, so around here. And now, the parts that we have here, this is just a piece of IKEA particle board that came off of a broken shoe shelf thing. So I'm going to be using that. I had some brackets lying around. You can get these at any hardware store. It's just all brackets. I have some wood screws to go into the wall. These are probably about 1.5 inches or so. And these are just little tiny screws that I'm going to use to fix the shelf to the brackets once they're on the wall. I also have here a stud finder and then my handy drill driver. Now let's start finding our studs behind the wall. Okay, so I have my stud finder. This you can get at any hardware store. It's the best thing that you can use to find the studs. I've also used, if you don't have one of these, I've also used a technique of just knocking on the wall and you're kind of guessing where that stud might be. It sounds hollow, and then you might find all of a sudden it gets not hollow. And also I sometimes use the fact that beside electrical outlets, you're gonna have a stud on either side. So I've also used the technique of using a really skinny nail if you don't care about your wall, and then just trial and error. If I don't have a stud, I would maybe estimate that there's a stud behind here, and then test with a nail. Nail it through, and then it's gonna be soft through the drywall, and all of a sudden it'll feel like it's harder to nail through. Then you know you've hit a stud. The problem with that is you don't know if you're near the edge of a stud. So that's only good if you're going to be hanging maybe things that aren't too heavy or it's not as weight dependent. But for this, I do want to put some heavy books on this. Just make sure it's sturdy. It's going to be on top of a dinette that we have. So I want to make sure that it doesn't fall. Stud finder is the best thing to use. So let's see how the stud finder works. Let's try it here. Sliding it along the wall. There it is. So I'm just gonna make a little mark there. Whoop, I don't want to make it too dark. That's our first stud, the center of it, and I'm going to try to find another one somewhere a foot down where I'm gonna put the other bracket. And there it's showing me the other stud. I usually go from the other side as well, just to make sure, double check. We're sliding. And it's showing me roughly in the same area. I'll try it a little higher. Yeah, there it is. So both times it told me coming from either side that the stud was right around here. Next part, we're gonna put the brackets onto the wall. So I'm gonna choose, longer part. It's gonna go on the bottom because I don't need that much space up top here. So I'm just gonna line it up to where the stud finder told me. I'm just gonna eyeball this. I didn't take any specific measurements. So that's the height that I wanted. It's just gonna be easy to reach our books on top of the dinette. So we have it here. And when I screw in the bracket, I'm guessing here, this is where the stud finder told me it was in the middle. But when I put in the screws, I like to just really make sure that it's gonna go into the stud by angling it like so. Just very slightly, right? Other than the screw going in this way, I want it to go this way towards the center, just slightly of where the stud finder told me the center of the stud was going to be. So I'm just gonna take my driver here and drive in that first screw. And because of the resistance driving in the final few millimeters there, I know for sure I was in the stud because it didn't just fall through like it would have if there was no stud behind there. So that's how you know for sure when you're drilling in. Around there, I'm past the drywall for sure. And then I can feel that I hit the wood because it provides a little resistance to screwing in. Next part, I just want to make sure I use my level to ensure that the brackets I'm putting up are aligned so that our shelf doesn't look crooked. So here's the center of the next stud that I want to put up. Just place the level right on top. Let's make sure our bubble is in the middle here. Well, here we go, just a little lower. Boom, we are level. So I'm going to now take my screws. Whoop. Let's put in that. Again, I'm angling. There we go, I feel the resistance. Beautiful. And bam, we are ready to put the shelf on. So I'm just gonna choose my favorite side here. I think it's gonna be this one right here. Just gonna place it like so on top. I'm going to leave a little space between the shelf and the wall just because I know I want to maybe pass a cord through, because I'm gonna put a little mini light here in the corner. And other than that, oh, I might have to just bend this bracket up a bit. And now I'm just going to use my tiny screws here to screw in the shelf from the bottom through the holes in the bracket, and we're gonna be done. So I'll just put in the first couple here. Again, I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not too worried about the aesthetics or the symmetry. And also, you just want to be careful when you choose these screws for obvious reasons. You want to make sure that as you go through and you tighten it all the way, that it won't actually penetrate the top and then ruin that top surface there. So I'm just gonna put in the final few screws here. Again, when you start pressing the button. Now, as you're screwing in, a good technique to have is to depress the button on the drill very slowly as you gain that stability so that it can start creating the hole. And then once it catches on, then you can press even more. Final screws. And we're done. So we have our shelf attached to the wall. It's nice and sturdy. There you go, shelf on the wall. For today's task, you're going to be putting a shelf onto the wall. What? What?
Oh my god. I told them to be excited. And now